You do not have to break yourself to do this work well. Prioritizing your mental health is doing it well. Hi, I'm Jenny Hughes, founder of the Brave Trauma Therapist Collective. And this month, for Mental Health Awareness Month, in Brave, we're talking about what it actually means to be human as a trauma therapist. Not just when no one's looking, but out loud, together in community. And today, I want to name something that gets twisted a lot in the way that we talk about therapist well being. We are constantly told to prioritize our mental health. We're in training, supervision, licensing renewals, it's everywhere. But almost never are we given the actual structures, the space, the cultural permission that would make it possible in a real, sustainable way. Prioritizing your mental health is not a checklist. It's not a performance, and it's not something that you achieve alone just by trying harder. It happens in relationship. It requires a certain set of conditions so it can become a nervous system reality, and it matters more than the system will ever fully admit. Today, I want to walk you through why that matters and how you can start protecting your own humanity, even inside of systems that don't make it easy, okay? We normalize nervous system responses for our clients every single day. We validate trauma impacts. We teach co regulation and window of tolerance. But when it comes to us, to ourselves, the double standard creeps in. We're expected to show up as if witnessing trauma day after day doesn't leave a mark, as if vicarious trauma, secondary traumatic stress, and emotional exhaustion are just problems to be managed individually rather than the inevitable outcomes of empathic engagement. Now, I'm not saying this with a doom and gloom attitude. It is normal for you to be affected by your work, okay? Please hear that. And your nervous system's not the problem. Your nervous system is doing its best to keep you alive in a culture that asks too much and gives way too little. In the Brave Trauma Therapist Collective, we use something that I have developed called the Trauma Therapist Trauma Response Continuum to describe this. I know that's a long title, but picture this: a spectrum, okay? On one end, you feel open, grounded, connected, able to be present with your clients and with yourself. And as you inevitably experience vicarious trauma, your nervous system is going to respond. You're going to kind of start to come down this spectrum, especially if you don't have the support and systems that you deserve to wring out your vicarious trauma sponge. This is when you start to feel activated, keyed up, tense, restless as you move further along through things like compassion fatigue, secondary traumatic stress. You might notice feeling detached, moving through sessions like you're underwater emotionally, absent even when physically present. And at this far end, way over here, overwhelm, cynicism, shutdown, full on burnout. Now, we don't stay parked at one point in our career, okay? We move across this continuum all the time, often without realizing it. And when we do realize it, most of us have been conditioned to either ignore it or shame ourselves for it. But your shifts on that continuum are not failures. They're information. They're your nervous system doing its best to manage a load that was never meant to be carried in isolation in the first place. Starting to then prioritize your mental health starts with recognizing that movement for what it is, not a moral failing, but a human truth. Burnout doesn't happen in an instant. Shutdown doesn't happen in a single bad day. Your body whispers first, subtle, soft messages that something is off. You might start feeling heavier walking into work or zone out while writing your notes. Forget the thread of a client session more easily. You might notice that no amount of rest seems to restore you. And when those signs show up and build up, everything around you, the clinical culture, the supervision models, the wider hustle culture will tell you to just push on through, to interpret those early signs as personal weakness, as evidence that you are not resilient enough, not cut out for this, as a problem to overcome with better time management or better self care checklists. It's total bullshit because it is not personal failure. It is your body telling the truth. And the earlier that you can hear those messages without shame, without urgency to fix them immediately, the more space you create for genuine care to happen. When you notice the early signs, you're not falling short. You're paying attention. And that act of noticing is the first radical step towards protecting your health and your future in this work. A few years ago, before I fully understood this myself, I was in a season where everything was just kind of slightly muted. I was still showing up for my clients, still supervising, still meeting all the expectations on the surface, but inside, I was numb. It wasn't a dramatic burnout, but a slow, quiet detachment. I told myself it was fine. I just need a vacation. Once I do this thing, then everything will be better. That if I could just power through for the next few months, it would all resolve. But the truth was, my nervous system had been talking to me for a long time. And when I finally listened, not just intellectually, but somatically, I realized how long I'd been performing from a place of survival. I realized how much of my identity had been tied up in being the one who could handle it. It wasn't until I slowed down enough to listen that I could begin to change anything. Not by quitting my job or blowing up my life, okay? But by making small, consistent shifts towards honoring what my body had been trying to tell me all along. Now, we know the cultural message is clear. If you're struggling, work harder. If you're overwhelmed, schedule better. If you're exhausted, be grateful you have work. Hustle culture frames slowing down as selfishness, as being lazy, as a failure to keep up. But here's the truth that every trauma therapist deserves to hear. Hustle culture is a stress response. It's an attempt to outrun the cost of what we witness every single day. It's a way of trying to create false safety through constant motion. And it doesn't fucking work. The faster you run, the more disconnected you become from your clients, from your body, from being human. Slowing down isn't about doing less because you're weak. It's about staying connected to yourself enough to still be present for the work and for your life. It's a nervous system intervention. It's trauma stewardship. It's survival. Every time you choose to step off the endless productivity treadmill, even briefly, you're choosing sustainability over self erasure. So take a moment with me right now. Get curious. Listen. What signs has your body been trying to send you lately? It's probably a small one, could be something bigger. Maybe it's something you've brushed off. What would it mean to believe that this sign matters? Not to fix it immediately, not to shame yourself for noticing it too late, just to believe that it matters because it does, because you do. If you're feeling a little heavy right now, a little raw, that's not a problem to solve. It's a sign that you're still human. And that's the part of you that deserves the most protection. This month, I'm inviting you to join us in the hashtag Being Human as a Trauma Therapist Challenge. This is a moment where you can share the times when choosing your mental health helped you stay connected, where you can reflect quietly, tag a peer who helped you remember you didn't have to do this alone, or just witness and know that you're part of something bigger. As you share this month, tag us at Brave Providers and use the hashtag Being Human as a Trauma Therapist so we can find each other. You don't have to be perfect to be good at this work. You don't have to be invulnerable to be effective. You just have to stay human, and you are. You always have been and always will be.